Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel. I'm here to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, episode 109, titled Left Behind, which premiered Thursday, March 31st, 2016 on the CW. Guys, so sorry for the delay. It is now April 5th and I'm recording, so very sorry. Reality caught up to me, but everything is slowly dying down for me, so I'm trying to get on track with everything. I really am. So, without further ado, let's get started with 10-minute clock. So what is something new that we learned in this episode? So basically, this episode takes off immediately after the last episode when we see the Wave Rider leaving Ray, Kendra, and Sarah in New Harmony 1958 while the ship is under attack by Kronos, which is why it went back into the time stream. So, for Ray, Kendra, and Sarah, we see them dealing with life in the 50s, waiting for the team to come back. Because they haven't come back for so long, Sarah believes they're dead, and that's why Ray has great hopes that they will come back for them. They don't see that until 1960, because of the fact that Kronos had done some damage to the ship, causing it to go off course, and because of that, Rip had to take it off navigation, which left it free falling through time. And then it wasn't until 1960 that they were able to, the 1960 time frame, they were able to grab control again and go back for their team. So within those 2 years, for the three of them, Ray and Kendra have started a relationship. Ray's a college professor, Kendra a librarian, and right when the Wave Rider comes back for them, they are celebrating their 2-year anniversary of being together. And Ray was just about to propose to her when the ship arrives. So we get that. And then we see Sarah, I think it was a few weeks after they got stranded in time, made the decision to leave Ray and Kendra behind. And Sarah is found to be in Nandapar back with the League of Assassins. So we get to see Ra's al Ghul again, from the original Ra's al Ghul that we saw back in season 3 on Arrow. We get to see him and his little daughter Talia. This was all before Nisa was born, mind you. So we see that. So the team goes after her, and we learn about this thing called time drift. And it's when a person is so lost in a time they're visiting that they're losing who they originally were before they made the time jump. So for Sarah, her time drift is basically having sole allegiance to the League of Assassins. For Kendra, she experienced losing herself. So she was slowly forgetting all of her past lives. She was slowly losing her ability to call on those wings of hers, and she was feeling less and less like herself because of the time drift. So eventually, to get Sarah back and out of Ra's al Ghul's control, he has to be able to release her, but in order to release her, they have to prove themselves worthy. So basically, Rip Hunter challenges Ra's al Ghul to a duel, but you can pick champions. So Kendra and Sarah are chosen as Rip and Ra's al Ghul's champions, respectively. So the two ladies fight it out. We see the skills of the assassin. We see Hawkgirl emerging again after 2 years for her. And we slowly see Sarah coming back into being who she is from 2016. So with that, Ra's al Ghul realizes that there is more to Sarah, that she could possibly be the time traveler, and he releases her, saying that her skill to kill, yet her mercy for life, I think it was, is conflicting her in becoming a warrior of the League of Assassins. So he releases her to her former life, to reclaim her name and all that. So while all this is happening, after Kronos attacked the Wave Rider, he kidnaps Captain Cold with it. Everyone's wondering why that is the case. Captain Cold realizes that under the Kronos mask is actually his former partner, Heatwave, McRory. So we find out in this episode that Captain Cold didn't actually kill Heatwave like we were led to believe when he left it, when the gun went off in the forest. Instead, he was left there in the woods, and it was the Time Masters that found Heatwave when he was kind of on the brink of insanity, living in squalor and such. So they took him outside of a place, or he took, Time Masters took Heatwave outside of place and time to train him with the other people who get trained for, like, the bounty hunters that is Cronus, and with that, they tasked him to go against his team. So I'm guessing the original Cronus had died, and then he just took his place and pretended to be him. So with that, we also see Lisa Snart, Captain Cold's sister, being mentioned. We also see pictures of her from when we see her from The Flash. So it seems that Heatwave's revenge against Captain Cold was killing Lisa Snart, make it even better by killing her in front of him and doing it repeatedly, since they have a time ship and everything. Don't really get to that, though, because of the fact that the Wave Rider is pops up back in 1960, so Heatwave tries to go after him. Captain Cold escapes his restraints by freezing off his hand and smashing it, which is kind of extreme, but wow. And that's about it. So now Heatwave is now captured by the team, and they're trying to find a way to reverse all the brainwashing that the Time Masters have done against him. So next stop for the team in regards to stopping Vandal Savage is the year 2147. So what was the most shocking moment in the episode? Sorry. I think it'd have to be, for me, the reveal that Heatwave, McRory, as it were, is the one behind the Cronus mask, and that Captain Cold did not kill him like we were left to believe. That was a big shocker for sure. So what was the top 3 favorite moments for this episode? First one has to be Nanda Parbat. What I really like is seeing more of what the League was like underneath Ra's al Ghul's rule, or this Ra's al Ghul's reign, and then seeing how Sarah interacts in that environment, how much she thrives. She definitely impresses Ra's al Ghul. It was just great to go back to the Arrow roots, as it were, and I like that for sure. Another favorite moment for me was the fight scene between Sarah and Kendra. They didn't hold back. They each brought their own unique talents to the table. Kendra being Hawkgirl, Sarah and her League of Assassins training. I guess she has 2 sets of it, or a more enhanced version of it now, since she was back with them for at least 2 years in the past. So there's that. So it was great to see to what extent they were going to go to try to either snap each other out of it, or to try to get them to stand down. Another favorite moment for me was Kendra actually telling Ray that she picked him and she wants to continue being with him, when he originally thought that because they're back on the Wave Rider, things are just going to go back to as if they hadn't been together for 2 years for them. So what I liked about that scene was Kendra making the point that all her life she's always been told that she's destined to be with one person, so she's always destined to be with Carter or the past versions of him. So she's never really had a choice of who she wanted to be with, but with Ray, she has the choice, and it's her choice to be with him, and she wants that choice. So I really like that. One thing I did find cool in this episode was the whole tissue regeneration thing, that thankfully got Captain Cold his hand back. So that seemed a little convenient, but considering this is a time ship from 2166, it does make sense why they'd have a tissue regeneration setup going on too. Plus, it's smart that he actually took samples from everyone before all this time traveling stuff happened. So, top 3 peeved moments of the episode for me. The major one was the fact that you can't go back to the moment before you interfered with time to begin with. I think I brought it up in last episode's questions, but I did like the fact that Ray Palmer also brought up that idea to Rip Hunter, and that is why it was explained that you can't, because then time would unfold on itself. Still don't get why that would, but at least it was brought up and addressed, so that was great. It just peeves me that it's not an option anymore. And moving on, what moment will I remember most about this episode? The fact that we got to see Nanda Parbat. Again, I definitely like it when we see crossover elements between the 3 shows, so it was great to see that in the form of the League of Assassins stuff, so that was great. So moving on to random questions. First one, if Sarah went back to the League of Assassins in the 1950s, would that affect her original first encounter with them back in 2007 after the whole Gambit sank? Which led her to be shipwrecked and all that. I'm wondering if it would, or I'm wondering if Reishago would still remember Sarah from, if he'd remember time-traveling Sarah when he meets the first version of Sarah, if that makes any sense. Again, time-traveling is so confusing, trying to keep everything so straight and in line, I guess you can say. Next question. Does Rey still plan to propose to Kendra? I'm assuming they wait a bit more time to get over the adjustment period, but I'm wondering if that's still on the table for him, because he definitely kept the ring. So, there's that. Last question, though. If Heatwave was able to come back from what we suppose was him being dead, then why hasn't Carter Hall? I mean, is the difference between the two because we saw Carter Hall die on screen, while for Heatwave it was left as an assumption that he was killed? I mean, it doesn't make sense. For Carter Hall, it makes sense that they would go back in time and they'd run into, or they'd find one of his reincarnations and then use that version of him to still have a version of Carter Hall with him. But, like, why haven't they done it already? I mean, really, why not? Because maybe that reincarnation version knows something else about Vandal Savage that maybe Kendra hasn't tapped into yet, or maybe the recent Carter Hall version hadn't known yet. So I find that possibility is just left wasted. But what do you guys think about that? Moving on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 110, we see a little kid who's going to apparently cause billions of deaths in the future is the next target for the team. And it looks like Vandal Savage is this kid's mentor. Based off the synopsis, though, it looks like Vandal Savage's powerful ally is a 14-year-old boy that will grow up to become this evil dictator. Because he's the target, that kind of splits the team up on whether to kill the kid or to not kill the kid. So it's either do we kill the kid to save the future, or do we not because he's a kid. So there's that. Also, I think I brought that possibility up in previous videos, but why not kill the kid version of Vandal Savage from way back 4,000 years ago? But like I said. Also, synopsis mentions Sarah helping Captain Cold through a rough patch, and that Rey discovers something that may affect his future with Kendra. Maybe it has to do with Carter Hall. Maybe not. We'll see. Also, on further news about the show, during the little 2-week hiatus that the show experienced, the CW renewed Legends of Tomorrow for Season 2. So we're definitely going to see more time-traveling adventures with this group, and just see how they are to get dubbed as Legends in the future. And that's cool. So overall predictions, though, mainly for this scenario with the 14-year-old boy. Either A, the team's going to kill him and get rid of that whole issue there. B, they're going to try to separate him from Vandal Savage's influences. Don't know how long that's going to last, but that's an option. C, they either turn him good, yet something happens that causes him to revert back to being evil. It's kind of reminds me, that possibility reminds me back on Charm, where little Wyatt was this paragon of good, but because such a traumatic event happened to him when he was such a small kid, it affected him so much that in the future he became this evil power source, I guess you could say. So maybe something like that would happen to the 14-year-old boy, where something truly traumatic happens to him enough that it turns him down the dark path. So that's always an option too. And then the fourth option, option D, is that they turn the boy good and he stays good. That would be the ideal, perfect scenario. So I doubt that's going to happen. But what did you guys think of what's going to happen with this 14-year-old boy? Do you think the team's going to be able to kill him? Do you think they're going to find another way? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Also, just let me know about your comments about this episode in general, because that's all I have to talk about. I'd love to hear about your own thoughts and theories about the episode, what you liked about it, what you thought would have been mentioned or haven't. Let me know in the comments below again. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want more news about the show, whether it's promos, web clips, synopses, quotes, GIFs, anything like that, check out my Tumblr page. Links for those will be down below in my description box. You got one link for this episode specifically, and then you got another link that leads you to a page that has every Tumblr tag I have related to Legends, The Flash, and Arrow. Legends is on the very bottom of that page, though, mind you. So be on the lookout for that. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. So sorry for the delay once again. I'm trying to get things back on track, but it's going to take some time. Sorry for the quality of my voice. I'm still trying to get over my cough, but I wanted to record and share my thoughts with you guys. And that's it. So until next week, I hope you come back to see what I have to say about this episode that's coming up. Until then, this is Mel wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.